This country has a leading role in international organizations like NATO, the G7, and the International Monetary Fund, IMF. It has one of the world's most powerful armies. The US dollar is the world's reserve currency, and the US has the largest economy in the world. But why is America absent from end-time Bible prophecy? Well, I have three theories which would give us a strong indication as to why the US is not explicitly mentioned. But a quick disclaimer, there is no clear biblical reference about the USA or about why it's absent. So the three theories I'll present to you are based on the interpretation of other significant biblical events. Let's begin. Many countries and regions, either by name or by ancient counterparts, are mentioned in biblical end-time prophecies, particularly in books like Daniel, Ezekiel, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Zechariah, and Revelation. While the modern names aren't used, scholars generally agree on their historical equivalents. Let's start by building a picture of those involved so that we are better positioned to understand the mysterious absence of America. One country is central to all biblical prophecies, and that country is Israel. Israel will be central to many significant end-time events. For example, the rebuilding of the Third Temple, the rise of the Antichrist, and a 7-year peace treaty, the abomination of desolation that happens in Israel, the battle of Gog and Magog, the battle of Armageddon, the millennial kingdom, 1,000-year reign of Christ. And finally, we read in Revelation 21 about Jerusalem's eternal state, as John says, "Then I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband." Now, as far as other countries that we know are mentioned in Bible prophecy, we have the ancient city of Babylon along the Euphrates River in what is now modern-day Iraq. In the book of Revelation, Babylon is referred to multiple times in Revelation chapter 17 and 18. And many scholars generally believe that the reference to the fall of Babylon, which is modern-day Iraq, is symbolic of the world system, a system filled with pride, idolatry, and spiritual corruption. The Enduring Word Commentary says this, "The great city Babylon shall be thrown down and shall not be found anymore. Someday, this world system will pass away, like a great stone falls to the bottom of the sea." Next, we have Persia, which is modern-day Iran. Iran has a big role to play in the end times. In the great battle of Gog and Magog, Iran will be one of the nations involved against Israel. But how do we know this? Well, firstly, you need to know that Persia is historically synonymous with modern-day Iran. The name was originally changed from Persia to Iran in 1935. Ezekiel 38, verse 2-3 notes that the leader of the coalition of nations that march against Israel is Gog, prince of Rosh. In this context, Gog is used as a title, such as prince or general, as well as a symbolic term associated with evil, rebellion, and violence. A coalition of nations will form a great army and march against Israel, and some of these nations will be Persia, which is modern-day Iran, Russia, Ethiopia, and Libya, to name a few. And one more notable mention before we move to America is China. Now, Revelation 16, verse 12 says, "Then the sixth angel poured out his bowl on the great river Euphrates, and its water was dried up, so that the way of the kings from the east might be prepared." Who are the kings of the east? Some scholars have suggested that if you look directly to the east of Israel on any world map, that would strongly suggest China. What further supports this argument is the fact that Revelation 9, verse 16-19 says, "Now the number of the army of the horsemen was 200 million. I heard the number of them, and thus I saw the horses in the vision. Those who sat on them had breastplates of fiery red, hyacinth blue, and sulfur yellow, and the heads of the horses were like the heads of lions, and out of their mouths came fire, smoke, and brimstone." Now, the number of the horsemen was an army of 200 million. Look who sits at the top of the chart when it comes to the world's largest armies. Furthermore, I heard one scholar make this connection. The three dominant colors mentioned in Revelation 9, verse 16-17 are red, blue, and yellow. China's flag is red and yellow. China's army wears a dark blue uniform. fire-breathing dragons are China's favorite symbol. It's amazing how accurate Bible prophecy is written so long ago about this nation. And so, with this understanding, let's take a look at 3 possible scenarios as to why America is not mentioned. The first scenario is that America declines or collapses before the end times. One of the most common theories is that the US will no longer be a major global power by the time end-time events unfold. Possible reasons for decline: economic collapse, debt, inflation, or global shift of power. Internal division, civil unrest, or even war. The nation could be destroyed by a foreign enemy involving nuclear weapons. A natural disaster or dramatic acts of God. The loss of moral and spiritual foundation, leading to divine judgment. Another view holds that America is present, but perhaps symbolically, or as a part of a larger group of nations. The possibilities are: America's involved or absorbed into a global alliance or world government, making it indistinct. This would obviously mean it's a part of the beast system of Revelation 13. Another possibility is that America is represented in Babylon the Great, described in Revelation 17 and 18. Here, it can be interpreted by some as a symbolic depiction of a major end-time economic and cultural power resembling the US. Remember that the book of Revelation describes the fall of a world system, the fall of Babylon, and in chapter 18, verse 6 to 8, it says, "Render to her just as she rendered to you, and repay her double according to her works. In the cup which she has mixed, mix double for her. In the measure that she glorified herself and lived luxuriously, in the same measure give her torment and sorrow. For she says in her heart, I sit as queen, and I am no widow, and I will not see sorrow. Therefore her plagues will come in one day, death and mourning and famine. And she will be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord God who judges her." This is talking about the fall of an economic and world superpower, or perhaps superpowers. Could America be under this category? The final view I'd like to present to you is this. The rapture removes a significant portion of the US population. Those who lean toward a pre-tribulation rapture view suspect that a large number of Americans will be taken in the rapture, significantly weakening the country. The impacts could include a leadership vacuum and social chaos, collapse of infrastructure and economy, loss of influence in global affairs, shift of prophetic focus to Israel, Europe, and the Middle East. Now, although I've presented you with 3 distinct viewpoints in an attempt to understand America's absence in Bible prophecy, I want you to remember that regardless of what happens, or what may happen, God is ultimately in control, and He has a plan for the nation of America and the believers in America.